Hi, it's Owen with Sword & Historical Swordsmanship, and now we're going to be talking a little bit about what to do in a case of commonly missed calls. And here to help me we have Simeon and Jesse. Right, so first thing to cover is what happens when we have a partially parried attack. So if Simeon is making an attack towards Jesse and she blocks it partially with the dagger, but it still breaks through and hits, we are still counting that as a point. Your point value is going to depend on the weapon set and the target area. So in that case, for example, because it is a side sword or a single-handed sword, if it hits to the body or the limb, it's still going to count as 1 point. No point is going to be removed because it was partially parried. Okay? Now, there's a distinction between that and a tibby cut. So if Simeon just barely kind of like scratches, right, those don't count. Okay? So bear in mind the difference between the two. They're obviously going to be a little bit subjective, so bear that in mind. If you as the fencer are worried about that, do better. So another thing we want to cover when we are looking at this is flat hits. Flat hits do not count. So if Simeon is just smacking Jesse with a flat, this does not count in any way, shape or form. Also, on that same note, if Jesse hits Simeon with something fantastic, and then Simeon hits Jesse with something less fantastic, that still negates the point value of whatever it is Jesse would have gotten, because Jesse had no way of knowing that Simeon's riposte was going to be bad. One final commonly missed call is, I think we want to talk a little bit about cloaks. Now, we haven't really got one to hand. Remember the difference between a wrapped cloak and a unfurled cloak. So, for example, if we are pretending that Simeon's dagger is a unfurled cloak,
doing the unfurled cloak, but okay.
Or whatever. If Jesse hits Simeon and it happens to hit his cloak or whatever, she still hits Simeon. That still counts. If it's completely wrapped around the arm, that's a different story. Those do not count, at least not with cuts. Thrusts still do count. So bear this in mind when you are looking at things, the distinction between a wrapped cloak and an unwrapped cloak. Just because something touches the cloak a little bit while it's on its path to hitting the leg or the body or whatever does not mean the point value is negated. I think that covers it for our commonly missed calls. If you have further questions, please reach out and message us.